You're now tuned in to Philly F.A.M.E TV. King B in here, talking about the project Fat Boy.
Philly F.A.M.E. Philly F.A.M.E. Alright, King B, man, what's going on? What's up with you, man?
Oh man, I can't complain, man. Sitting here enjoying life. I can't really complain. I'm blessed. Alhamdulillah to Allah for giving me this opportunity to talk to, you know what I'm saying, the individuals and, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, be able to tell my story and, you know what I'm saying, where I came from into this industry as far as with Hollywood and shit like that. It's difficult, but, you know, I'm here, man.
Right. All right, so let's get into your story, you know what I mean, for people that's tuned in, that's not too familiar with you and stuff like that. Let's start at the very beginning. You originally from the city, from Philly, you know what I mean? What part?
South Philly.
Yeah,
South
so
Philly, Passyunk Projects, man.
From the P, all right?
Yeah, from the P, but I got off the porch in the bottom, 33rd Street, Underworld.
Okay.
Shout out to West Philly, man.
All right, so explain that, you know, growing up in the city, a little bit about your upbringing and your background.
Well, my upbringing was, you know what I'm saying, like any other typical individual that grew up in Philly. You know what I'm saying? You've seen drugs, you've seen killings. You know what I'm saying? You know, my mother was incarcerated when I was 6.5. And my grandparents stepped in to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? Well, I was 10 years when she was away. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in Passyunk, South Philly. I was always a South Philly boy, Stanley Street, whatever like that. And we was just talking. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we was just, we was just being, you know, coming up in the area, you know what I'm saying, seeing the slums and seeing everything. But, you know, my grandparents was like the Cosbys of the projects. You know what I'm saying? They wanted you to go to school and get a job and shit like that. And, you know what I'm saying, when they tore the projects down in the summer of '99, we migrated to Jersey, Willingboro, New Jersey to be exact. And when I was down there, I graduated high school down there and went to Richard Stockton University. And, you know what I'm saying, when I dropped out my sophomore year, I came back to the city. By that time, my mother was already home from doing her sentence. And, you know what I'm saying, reunited with my family on that side. And, you know what I'm saying, that's how I got into the streets.
All right, so where, the college you went to, where is that located? Because I ain't too familiar.
Atlantic County. Atlantic County towards Atlantic City.
Okay, so
right
it's
down
right in Jersey. Okay.
Right down the road.
So you said your sophomore year, you basically dropped out?
Yeah, I was flunking. I had to drop out. I feel as though college students, when they first get into college, I think that I went to college on regards to, you know what I'm saying, prove people wrong, you know what I'm saying, to come from the background that I came from. I was always told by individuals that was close to me, people, teachers and everything, that was never college, you know what I'm saying, eligible to go. So when I finally got there, I basically got there and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how, you know what I'm saying, to keep up with the college life and all that. And by my sophomore year, I was switching my majors like I was switching clothes. You know what I'm saying? I originally started with sociology, then I went to business administration, etc. And it was one of those situations where, you know what I'm saying, I was flunking. You know what I'm saying? You don't got your mommy and daddy waking you up to tell you got to go to sociology at 2 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations where, you know what I'm saying, I was being irresponsible. And that's why I tell all new college students, you know what I'm saying, when you want to go to college, you know what I'm saying, you got to be sure. Some people take gap years, take 1 year gap years off before they make that decision if this college is for them or whatever like that. When I got there, you know, I just dropped out. But when I dropped out, you know what I'm saying, I feel like I didn't want to do it. I feel like I didn't want to do it. I feel like it wasn't the right choice for me, and I was flunking. So I dropped out my sophomore year. I came back to the city, and that's how I started getting wrapped around with the illegal trade, with the narcotics, whatever like that.
Right. That's an interesting story for us college, because I went to college myself, so I can relate. Like, a lot of people that went there and really knew what they was doing, really knew why they was there, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a more common story than not. People go there, figure out it's not for them, and then they just stop going, or they drop out, flunk out, whatever. So now let's get to your story. Like I said, I was talking about off camera how you had an interesting story as far as how you got into the streets, being as though you started off like on the right path, positive path as far as going to school and stuff like that. Then once you came back to the city, how did you ended up transitioning into?
Well, when I came back to the city, I was practically homeless. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, you know, have a relationship with my mother. I just was like, you know, let me go find a place to go live at, or to say, you know what I'm saying? That's what the mindset I was thinking, and to get to know my family. And when I went to go live with my mother, it was, you know what I'm saying, it was kind of like, I didn't know her, she didn't know me. So, you know what I'm saying, it was hard to relate to somebody, you know what I'm saying, my mother was the closest thing to me when I was young. But when she went away, you know what I'm saying, all the you know, the real feelings, it kind of went down the drain, with you know, you could say. And when she reunited back in my life, it was more like I was trying to get to know her and she was trying to get to know me. And I can say that when we collided heads a lot, and I ended up running into a childhood friend of mine that's from the projects. And he pulled up in a white 745 BMW in Wilson Projects one day. He haven't seen me in years, and I seen him, and I was like, "Damn, where you work at?" He said, "I don't work." So you know what I'm saying, I was kind of confused about that. So when I got in contact with him, actually I didn't know that I was being affected by the recession. Around that time, the recession was starting to come around there. This is like going on 07. The recession was starting to come. So I didn't know, it was hard for me to get jobs. And he said, he gave me the number. He said, "Call me if you know what I'm saying, if you ready, you know what I'm saying, ready for whatever I got for you." And I didn't even know what he had for me. So when I called him, I said, "Yo, I thought about what you said and I'm ready." And he said, "Ready, huh? You ready, huh?" He said, take the trolley. I'm so broke, I didn't even have a car. I took 33rd, the trolley, the 36 trolley, all the way to 33rd and Market, and got off at Underworld. And when I got off at, 33rd and Market, he came and picked me up and he took me to Underworld. When I come in, it's nothing but work all inside the house. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a kid that's holding so much money. He's like 12 years old. He had more money than I ever made. You know what I'm saying? And they was shooting dice, and I'm like, "What the fuck am I a part of?" And that's when I dived into the cocaine trade and this and that.
Okay, so basically a guy you knew introduced you to the situation, and then you ended up getting into it yourself. So now explain your experience going from somebody that wasn't into this at all, who was trying to go to school. Now you knee deep in the streets. Know what I mean? Like, explain your process or the experience
going through
hard.
that. I never sold a nickel bag of weed, never did none of that. I've been around street dudes all my life, but you know what I'm saying, now you in that field, it was real difficult to adjust. You know what I'm saying? You got some dudes that's basically coming for you. You know what I'm saying? They used to call me, that's how I got the name Big. They was basically calling me college boy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they was just basically like, you know, testing you. Even with, you know what I'm saying, being on the block where other dudes has actually been pumping for years, and when they get to know you, whatever like that, and realize that you don't belong here, so they gonna test you. And I had many moments where I got tested, but I stood strong on what I stood on. You know what I'm saying? I was around wolves. Who was really about that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, getting into that field of life is, you know, it changes your whole perspective. It changes, you know, because I used to always look from the outside in and say, well, damn, how can, you know what I'm saying, why are they always in the streets? And then when, you know, following the rules of what the government has told you to do, and don't take this as me saying that, you know, go to the streets because, you know what I'm saying, what your parents tell you going to school and get an education is not the right thing. But, you know what I'm saying, I did all those things and I failed. And the street people was more receptive to open their arms. You know what I'm saying? When I was broke, they opened their arms to me and they gave me a place to live at. You know, so it was one of those situations where when they opened their arms, I was with them. It's kind of like running with the wolves in the wilderness, and that's what I did. I ran with the wolves.
Right. And you know, in another interview I saw you doing, the interview I was talking to you off camera, reference like you was doing an interview on IG Live with somebody. You was talking about your
Philadelphia Film Festival.
Yeah, you was talking about
Philadelphia Indie. Shout out to Benjamin too.
Right, you was talking about your film and your web series, which we're gonna get to. But one of the things you talked about in there, what I want you to elaborate on here, was how you had turned into a different person. You ain't like to the degree where you like almost didn't recognize yourself with some of the stuff you was doing.
Exactly.
Stuff like that out there. Speak a little bit on that.
Exactly. Turn into a different person as far as with being up all types of nights. You know what I'm saying? Being having a sociopathic mind frame of, you know what I'm saying, caring about yourself and, you know what I'm saying, using a pistol. You know what I'm saying, whatever, you know what I'm saying. There's no, you know, if we have, you know, if you had a job and you have a disagreement, you might have a meeting, but if you have a disagreement as far as with the streets, you know what I'm saying, go get your pistol. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of those situations where, you know, I got shot multiple times having, you know, beef, drug wars and this and that, well, how they want to say drug wars, you know what I'm saying, all that shit. And it was, I ain't recognize myself my first year into the streets. I ain't recognize myself, you know what I'm saying, I never put on a persona or anything like that, but you start doing things that you don't normally be doing. You know what I'm saying? You stop following the rules. You stop playing the good guy, start playing being the bad guy wearing the black hat. And that was my thing. I started, wearing a black hat. So, I wasn't a malicious individual, don't get me wrong. I just didn't take no shit off anybody. So it was situations that if you wanted to go there, I'll go there with you. You know what I'm saying? I'll go there, whatever you want. I was with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I'll go there with you. And that kind of gave me the respect, you know what I'm saying, for the dudes that was on the streets, all the OGs that was down in the bottom in West Philly to recognize me and see who I was and this and that. And, you know what I'm saying, I was with a heavy crew as a, down 33rd Street Underworld. I was already with a heavy crew, an established crew. So it was pretty much, I had to prove myself to them and show that I was built tough for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like forward, you know what I'm saying? So.
Right. Got you. So eventually you get caught up and having to do some time behind this.
Yeah.
So how long was you doing your thing before you actually got caught up and explained, going through that, getting locked up?
Almost 3 years. I was on my first case. I actually caught my first case. I was in the Daily News. I was living in Adams Run. Apartments towards like Allen, whatever like that. And I caught my first case. I had all these guns in my house. Somebody called the cops, whatever like that, said that somebody was making a narcotics deal, which was bullshit. And police came, and they, you know what I'm saying, I was sitting outside. I was actually waiting for a girl. Excuse me. And I basically, you know what I'm saying, when they came, you know what I'm saying, they just, swarmed me, took the key off my neck, went inside my home. They actually knew where I lived at. They went inside my home and they found 4 loaded firearms in there. I got arrested, you know what I'm saying, I ended up getting bailed out. And when I came home and I read the paper, my mother woke me up and said, "You in the paper?" And that case was ongoing, and I ended up was fighting that case on the street. I caught my first case in Phoenixville, PA. First case in Phoenixville, PA, all this work, all this crack on me. And I got caught up in there, and I ended up catching that case, / robbery case, whatever. So when I catch the case, it was bullshit. I was basically facing all this time with crack. I had all this crack on me, and I had, the gun case that was leaning over my head. Good thing enough, the police didn't show up, and they ended up dropping the case. They had no evidence, so they dropped the case with the gun. But I ended up doing 4 years upstate in Pennsylvania, and I came home in 2013, and the crew everybody was running it up. I wanted in. Everybody was running it up. I'm in prison. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing all the good things that's going on the streets, so I had to go get to it. So when I came home, everybody was living larger than life, and I got a part of it, and we was doing our thing. We was doing our thing out of town, and not knowing that we was already being investigated, and everybody was just, you know what I'm saying, getting locked up one by one. I was one of the first ones who got locked up. They came to my home, you know what I'm saying, while I was cooking pancakes for a child, and he came in Montgomery County Drug Task Force, and I don't even know how they knew where I lived at, but you know how the shit goes, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers are just, they just run their mouth, and I ended up catching the case, and they was offering me some time. They was getting everybody together. They was putting tracking devices on people's cars. It was a scary moment for all of us. And when it happened, you know what I'm saying, I swore to myself, I said, before I, even court the arrest case, I was already transitioning and trying to get into acting, whatever like that. I got in contact, shout out to my acting coach, Bernard, from the Philadelphia Acting Studio. I got in contact with him, whatever like that, because I saw him at a Black Film Festival. And you know what I'm saying, I reached out to him and I said, yo, I want to be an actor, I just don't know how to go by it, excuse me. And he told me, he was like, listen, it's either the streets or that. But I can't tell this nigga that, you know what I'm saying, I'm knee deep, brother. I don't got time to go to acting school. I don't got time to take notes and shit like that where, you know what I'm saying, my fiends and my players, you know what I'm saying, they waiting for that wake up, you know what I'm saying? So those were the situations that I couldn't really go into it right away. So by the time that happened, I felt like I was losing my dream. But I was in the dope house. I used to be writing scripts. You know what I'm saying? Writing scripts. At the time when I thought it was a script. You know what I'm saying? I used to be writing in the dope house. And when I got arrested, you know what I'm saying, I ran into this individual. I actually, you know what I'm saying, he was doing plays in the jail. And I was like, damn, he's so dope. I told him, I said, damn, I want to do plays, I want to do scripts just like you. And he's like, let me see what you got. And when he showed me, you know what I mean, when I showed him the script, he said, this is not a script, this is a book. So he takes me to a cell, and it's nothing but scripts, real copies of scripts. Anything you want to know, Usual Suspects, American Gangster. This nigga had the Devil Wears Prada script in his cell. I don't know how this brother got it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how this nigga had the Devil Wears Prada in his motherfucking cell. But he had a Meryl Streep shit. So I ended up looking at that, and I was intrigued. I saw the format. I actually had my significant other. She sent me some things as far as with the script, and I was looking, and I taught myself basically how to write a script and the format, get to understand the dialogue of writing a script, and I started writing my project. You know what I'm saying? The projects that that I was already writing, I started transitioning into a script.
All right, hold on. We're going to get to that. You know, I just want to pause you for a second, and let's recap what you just said to make sure I got you correctly.
Okay.
So you said you got caught and ended up doing 4 years on the first go round.
Yeah.
And then while you was locked up, your team that you was with, they still was active, getting busy and all that. Mm-hmm. So you come back home from that 4 years and end up getting back active. And then that's when you caught another situation with the Montgomeryville task force blitzing you and all that. Mm-hmm. So while you was locked up, that's when you really started diving in your bag as far as the writing and getting into the script and all of that, with the bull who was doing the plays and had different scripts and all that. So how long was you locked up that time before you actually came back home to start getting into the...
I was locked up for 5 years.
So you did 5 on the second go around. So you did a total of 9 altogether.
Yeah.
So how long was you home in the middle of that? Like when you came back home and got back active, how long was you home before you actually got booked again?
2.5 years.
So you was 2.5.
I came home 2013. I came home 2013, and you know what I'm saying? They came by 2015. I was back in the jail cell again.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just came home what? Like last year, 2 years ago? Like how long you been home?
I've been home since April 4th this time.
Oh, so you just came home this year?
Yeah, I came home.
Oh yeah, so you said you got locked up 2015,
right.
5 years later. All right,
Yeah.
So you just recently home within the last couple months?
Yeah, it's a blessing, man.
Wow. So now, damn, that's crazy. So now that I got another question to ask on top of that, because that's a crazy situation based on the time frame, like, because you was out here a little bit for the social media era when it first was like kicking off, but then you come back home and now you see how it is now in 2020. So explain, doing that 4, coming home for 2, then doing another 5 on top of that, then having to come home to this. What was that like for you?
It was an adjustment, but I already was focused on my mind, on what I wanted to do. I used to always ask questions. I was always in tune with the streets. People always kept me upbeat with things that was going on. And I was basically just focused on what I wanted to do. I wanted to get into the entertainment business. I wanted to be an actor. And I wanted to get my product that I was writing down there out on the screen. I know that I was a dope writer because I used to always, it was so crazy when I was on the streets. I used to I used to read some of the things I used to write down, or I let people read it in the dope house. Some dope fiends and everybody that was around me, they used to say, yo, you can write. You know what I'm saying? I never really took it serious. And when I got to prison, everybody's going to give you cold hard facts in prison. You got a whole bunch of haters in there. So they don't whenever you got a hater telling you can fucking write, you know what I'm saying? That's something. And this nigga, he hated everything. You know what I'm saying? So I started getting serious with it. And I know what my acting coach told me before I got incarcerated. He said it's either the streets or this. And I remember seeing the Black Film Festival down Philly up in the paper, the Daily News, while I was locked up. And I'm reading it in my cell, this hot ass cell. I'm talking about there's no insulation in there. You know what I'm saying? I got a junkyard fiend as my cellie. So all he's doing, he's dope sick. So all he's doing is just, you know what I'm saying, shitting and doing whatever the hell he's doing in there. Typical dope shit. And I was like, damn, man, I should be there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sitting in the jail cell. I missed it. And you know what I'm saying? I asked Allah, I said, if you give me this opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, lead me into what I want to do for the rest of my life, I'll leave the street shit alone. And I started taking it serious. I started writing every day. And I didn't even know at the time, they call it monologues, where you practice a script by yourself, where, you know what I'm saying, you record yourself. But I didn't have a recorder. I used to be in the mirror and I used to practice the script, and I used to sometimes bug myself. Well, how this sound? I'm about to do this off of a script, and some of my subs like, yo, this is good, whatever like that. I'm doing some shit that I don't even know what I'm doing. And you know what I'm saying? When I came home, April 4th this year, the first thing I did is contact my acting coach and told him I enrolled me into the Philadelphia acting studio, excuse me. And he accepted me, he took, you know what I'm saying, my money. I ain't have nothing. The money that I was getting, because at the time it was this COVID shit that was locked down. So it was pretty much nothing to do. So, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, now's the time. So, you know, I came home perfect time and I got into the Philadelphia acting studio and he taught me, you know, countless hours of being a dope actor, whatever like that. And he told me I was a fucking artist. I'm learning the ropes, man. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just following whatever lead that you want me to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing that. And he was just crafting me into what I am today. So.
Right. So now, so to recap all of that, because that's a crazy little situation, thinking about it for somebody who didn't start off on the path of wanting to be in the streets and wanting to be a street guy, to do 9 years in prison, but then find out while he in prison, like, to find his path of, you know, I want to act, I want to do movies and stuff like that. While I was talking off camera, like the average person want to rap and do stuff like that. You was like, no, I want to do movies and stuff like that. So you actually started and was rehearsing while you was in prison.
Yes.
Fast forward, you come home and you end up getting a developmental deal with Paramount.
Yeah, as far as with that, I'm not going to disclose what's going on with Paramount because we in discussions, whatever like that. I actually got the contract. As far as with that, you know what I'm saying, part of legal issues, whatever like that, I won't disclose it. But when I got in contact with them, they actually saw, one of their people actually saw the interview that I did with the Philadelphia Indie. And saw it and they was interested in the project. You know, at the time, I ain't even, I believe, I don't know, yeah, I did drop the promo trailer and I was doing the interviews, whatever like that. You know, underground film scene was buzzing about what I was doing. And he was interested, and he wanted to know me, who's this acting guy? You know what I'm saying? Because he actually saw, you know, got in contact with my acting coach. He was like, who's this kid that's in your class that's, you know, talented like this, whatever like that. And he explained who I was, and here I am. And they asked me, do I want to do the interview, whatever like that. I was like, yeah, sure. I ain't even know. I just thought it was just a, you know what I'm saying, regular chat, whatever like that. But it was on Instagram. So, you know, we did an Instagram live, and we started discussing about it. And that's when people just start coming in, flooding me, whatever like that. I'm talking about people from LA and all over, actors, producers, and this and that, and writers and all that. They was interested in the project. I never even thought that they would even be, you know what I'm saying, buzzing over it. So, you know what I'm saying, it's a blessing. Alhamdulillah, that Allah blessed me with that. And, you know, Paramount and I was talking, we was discussing, and, you know, tune in, man, tune in. I can't really disclose, but tune in on that. And you know what I'm saying, it was just crazy just be sitting in the cell 6 months ago to actually talking to Paramount and all these other producers and these guys that want to jump on the project, whatever like that. So it's all about, you know what I'm saying, your right timing and what you want to do for your life. Everybody don't really have, they don't know they calling. If they do know they calling, they don't take a chance of following their dreams or they calling in life. People just be stagnated. And I never wanted to be one of those individuals that wanted to be stagnated. I always been a trendsetter. You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted to do something that, you know, if dudes was in prison, was like, yo, this nigga's a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? What's up with him? When I told people I wasn't gonna sell drugs anymore, people was looking at me like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Go ahead. Like, this nigga's talking about he wanna act, you know what I'm saying? But I was serious, you know what I'm saying? I blocked all the negative chat out. I blocked all that shit because I knew what I wanted. I wanted to get my mother a house. I wanted to uplift everybody that was around me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want, you know, to keep on selling drugs because there's only two things that's gonna happen in this game. Death or getting some time that you don't want. There's a lot of dudes in the penitentiaries, a lot of dudes in the graveyards. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't want that.
Right. So now, let's get to the project Fat Boy. Independently produced. Yeah. I mean, you fresh home, you got the idea.
Started playing the league.
Know what I mean? You got the promo trailer, little promo joint out now.
Yeah. The United States government considered the heroin epidemic
evidence not just of a local problem, but a national drug epidemic.
They consider a black plague to the communities, to people's families' lives. Me? I felt different. I see it as a way of establishing making us stronger. I see it as a way of changing the narrative. Of our lives.
little bit on the project, what it's about, and what you're looking to do with it.
Well, Fat Boy is basically like everybody else who they backs against the wall. I wanted to tap into that because you got a lot of, you know, drug dealing shows, Power, and you know, shout out to 50, you know what I'm saying? Power is a dope show, you know what I'm saying? You got Snowfall, you got all these shows that talk about crime, but they don't really talk about the realistic, you know what I'm saying? The closest thing that was realistic to crime was The Wire. And I said if it was ever something like that ever created again, would just basically just focus on the dealer and not just focus on, you know what I'm saying? The Wire was basically focused on the police. It was more like a documentary, how they shot it was more about the police. And basically, I said if I ever get a chance, I'm gonna write the truth about what it's like to wake up broke. What is it like to, you know what I'm saying, go grind? What is it like to deal with fiends on a daily basis? What is it like to, you know, have these walls coming at you for real? None of that fake shit that you see on TV. I just wanted to tell the truth, you know what I'm saying, and what's going on. And when I came up with Fat Boy, I just wanted to blend, you know, the character that I'm playing, Fat Boy Terry, he basically is a has-been football player that never made his potential, never, you know, reached his potential to becoming a successful football player. And, you know what I'm saying, when, you know, taking his family, you know, he was supposed to go to the league and he was supposed to take everybody around him. But when he fucked up his knee, he basically just competed in the rap race like everybody else. Everybody else getting a job, you know what I'm saying, working odd jobs, you know what I'm saying, getting pennies. And when his mother got sick, he makes the bold decision of getting into the heroin trade. So it's one of the most realistic things that's, that needs to be told on television, because there's a lot of fat boys, you know what I'm saying, that's out in this world that when they backs against the wall, they don't know what to do but to go get a pack or go get a strap, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm going to be showing on with our film, with the TV series. So it's now a TV series, it's not a movie no more, it's now a TV series. I had some of my representatives tell me that you should turn it into a show.
Okay. So you're in the process of working on this. So what are you planning on doing as far as the release, or do you got a date when you expect to put it out?
Yeah. I got a release for the day. It's all about perfect timing, being though with this COVID thing. You know what I'm saying? Being though with this COVID thing and how a lot of shows, my show is just, you know what I'm saying, meatballs to big shows that's like, you know, the Snowfalls and the major shows that's on stream, whatever like that. So, you know, me and my team, the people that's part of the project. Shout out to Jay Rich Films. He does a lot. He's a director. He does a lot of films. I mean, a lot of videos for rappers in the city and all over in the tri-state area. And he connected me with Vanessa, which is his manager, and we was in the process of talking where, you know what I'm saying, we could just go web series, you know what I'm saying, if the situation with Paramount don't, you know what I'm saying, don't follow through, because, you know what I'm saying, you know, with the industry talking to individuals, they, you know, when you got an idea for a show, and when I'm starting to learn about the business, when you got an idea for a show, you know what I'm saying, it's all about development, and it's all about getting with they writers, and, you know what I'm saying, coming up with this creative process. So sometimes that could take, you know what I'm saying, years or whatever, you know what I'm saying, being though with this COVID thing, everything's shut down, so if things don't pan out, but we still have release date for going for this fall. It will be out this fall. And I'm thinking about heading to, I was in the talks with Jimmy the Saint, thinking about going to Amazon Prime, whatever like that. Amazon Prime is taking a lot of material, a lot of shows, whatever like that. So talking to people that got connections to Amazon Prime now, whatever like that. Or if not, man, we could just do like, you know, IGTV if everything else fails. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel as though the material, it'll be big for the city. It'll be big for Philadelphia. Philadelphia doesn't have nothing. As far as when it comes to films, doesn't have nothing when it comes to shows. They got shows on New York. They got shows in Baltimore. They don't got nothing on Philadelphia. They don't talk about this area. They don't even talk about the counties of this area in Philadelphia. Chester, they don't got nothing. So I feel so, you know, I'm the one. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one that's going to give that raw stuff that Philadelphia's been craving for.
Okay. All right, man. On that note, go ahead and plug your IG and anything else you got going on that you want to let the people know. Go ahead and plug that right now.
It's King B 2154. Check out my new TV series that's coming out this fall called Fat Boy. Tune in, man. This shit's gonna be epic, man. Tune in to King B 215 F.A.M.E. That's my Instagram, John. You know what I'm saying? Tune in for Fat Boy. New TV series for Philadelphia. Tune in. It's gonna be everything that you've been craving for. None of that fake shit. New king of trap TV, me, King B.
Alright, man. Anything else you want to let the people know before we get out of here? Anything else we didn't get a chance to cover? You want to clarify, address, or just speak on
No,
it?
I just want to give a shout out to all the dudes that's in jail. You know what I'm saying? That's don't know how to get to their dreams, and they dealing with the situation of being locked up. I always want to bring that attention to the people that's in jail. Shout out to Dame, free Dame. Free Dame, free Waka, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? RIP to all the fallen soldiers, all RIP to Dave, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to West Philly, shout out to South Philly, shout out to the whole Philly, man.
Early. Alright, man, on that note, until next time, we signing out, man. King B, Philly F.A.M.E. TV. Look out for Fat Boy, new series coming soon.